Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Conversations and Contracts. And we'll get started here in just a minute. Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you here to Gov Directions Gov School Series, where having coffee, conversation, and contracts. And we're looking forward to chit-chatting with you today about the General Services Administration. Um, my co-host is Cynthia Harper. Is a little under the weather and hoping she joins us, but she's having a little problem with the pollen. So I'm going to lead the series today so we can keep it on track. And I'm going to share. Start about sharing the screen, but make sure you have your coffee full. We're going to spend about 30 minutes together and kind of go through some topics. If you got to rhyme in, you can. Just unmute yourself and ask any questions you like. When you do come in the room, though, please maintain the mute status unless you have a question. That helps out with the background noise. My coffee cup today is a UGA one for my alumni series, and so I told you I was going to bring that this week. But we wanted to talk today about the General Services Administration, and I'm going to share with you a couple of screenshots. Here we go. Whoop, wrong one. Another sorority one. That's us live on YouTube, and we now are broadcasting it at the same time on YouTube, and that helps us out. And we have an audience there, I understand, today as well. And so we have in our Coffee Conversations contract series today, just kind of go over a couple of items that we have been working with. We're going to have our Gov School Focus session this afternoon on April 5th, which is a good 1.5 hour series where we actually talk to you about a variety of topics. Government 101, contract and instruments, a pinpointing opportunity, really some details there. We'll go on to our local lessons this coming Thursday, April 8th. So make sure you check that out. We're going to focus in on the decision making and purchasing at the local level. And we will specifically focus in on the $2 trillion, maybe even as much as $3 trillion coming forward with the contracts related to the infrastructure planning. And then on Friday, join us where we have a little fun with Bidwinked, where we talk about what's happening in the third party market sector and how to avoid those systems. And so you can get information you need to respond in there. And so here we are today, and I see Cynthia getting online, and I got up in front of us the General Service Administration website. The GSA is one of the largest buyers in the public sector marketplace, and a number of different divisions. We watch those, of course, every day as they come out. You can see that they have a number in their divisions. They really focus in on real estate as a big activity where they're actually leasing all the government space around the country. So we monitor that for our real estate sector, as well as just general small business type operations and travel and technology for the government. And hey, Cynthia, how are you doing? Are you online here? I see that your mute is on though.
Yes.
So we
Oh,
got
is
the
it?
yeah. So I know I was telling everybody you're a little under the weather with the pollen, So we're going to, you can help guide me and give me a thumbs up if I'm doing a good job today. So, and we'll watch everybody as they're coming in. But GSA was one of your particular topics. And I was going to walk through that department. It was just one agency at the federal level that we monitor, but it's certainly one of the largest one. Everybody wanted to make sure they get on the GSA schedule. It really helps out, sort of like the catalog to buy on in the process. Did you want to say anything this morning, Cynthia?
No, I would like to just encourage everyone to please do their best to get involved with, please excuse my voice. I think me and Paulin are having a fight, but I'm going to win. So we're not worried about that. My coffee will knock it out. But GSA is such an incredible agency to get involved with. And they're also so lenient with their information. They share a lot. So I really like to encourage you all to take advantage. If you are in an area where you can meet with the GSA and attend their industry days, to please get involved with the GSA. They are an incredible agency to be involved with.
Yeah, and they actually on their website, I'm going to call attention to a couple of items there, but on their website, they always have their upcoming events and those meetings that you want to watch are there, and you can go there. It's where it's all upcoming. They list them one by one. And while we still have a lot of those sessions online, we are starting to see them move some organizations move to more in person and smaller groups or industry day settings. But you can see those online. These are always good, these training seminars that they do. This is the GSA, the Southwest Region Training Seminar, and you can kind of walk through those. But one helpful one that I watch for each routinely is how to get on the GSA schedule and what you need to know. And the next one's going to be Tuesday, April 3rd. And when you come into the website, you can add it to your calendar and then you can register online. It's always important you do that. And whenever you do register, go through and make sure that you, when you put your name and the name of your company, what if I want to make sure they understand who I am. They'll see this information. I might want to put my full name to start off with and build my name in there. So with it set up so that they can actually see that. And you can do Gov directions, for example, or your name of your company. It's always helpful, I think, in that process when you are registering for them. You can and they'll have that detail there. And so let me see here. I'm getting some questions too. I want to make sure that I'm following the chat. There is a chat box here. And let's see, I'm going to continue to let people in the room. But it's always well watch this at gsa.gov and keep up with those sessions. Now at Gov Directions, what we do is we actually build all the individual sessions that they'll have at GSA in one of our RFP categories. And if you watch the business events and expos, this is actually powered by Gov Events, one of our partners in this industry. Then you can come in and you can actually see some of the actual training sessions that are out there. But GSA is one of those that will constantly publish for you as you go online there. And we also watch those GSA contracts that are out there. But most of us can also, I always like to point out the beta.sam.gov. And when you go in, you can actually do an advanced search on contracting opportunities, and you can just put in General Services Administration and start off with, but it'll actually pull up those individual ones for GSA. But you can also come in, and clear that, put your individual keyword in for your business, and then go in and choose the agency for GSA. Just type in General Services Administration. There we go. And it's going to show you those last items, including the more recent ones, the awards. I was looking at a couple of these this morning. It's because I want to point out, the individual contract awards. We do monitor those, and I'm going to show you some of the largest ones for the week. I want to try to start doing that as well. Give you the top 10 big ones, but also the top 10 average ones, so that you know that it's not all just specifically those agents, the large companies winning, that there are smaller, medium-sized companies. And so I've started this award sheet that I'm monitoring for you. And so here's a list of all of the ones just since April 1st that are out there, and the award date, and the type of service. And these starts with it really, I'm sorting them by the amount. A lot of these are open-ended, so they're not a specific amount. And so it starts off at zero, but you can see some of the smaller ones. These are good contracts. Federal Express got a $6,000 contract there that was more recently awarded. You can see these different ones, Shaver Foods and Fayetteville, Arkansas won $12,000 contract for meats in the third quarter. It was announced for the Department of Justice for one of some of those prisons that are out there. Good work, and that's constant recurring work too. And then you can see some of the, I think a good portion of these. We got about 300 or so here, and I'd say 100 plus is or less than $100,000 contract. So good solid work for companies. And then you step up to the next level and you really start seeing some big contracts. Here's one for Auburn and one for K&M Industrial there. And this is for the Homeland Security for dockside work. And it's out there. And you can go in, but I always look at the big ones too. A $2 billion award last week for business-oriented software. And this is in Alexandria. And then the next one below that is some of the big guys. But when you go in, you can actually go in and see those, this one here. A lot of times with the real big ones, or sometimes with the defense agencies, you have to step an additional step and in order to see that. And so what I do is I always just download that and go in and see how that was broken up. But here we got a contract for $2 billion for software. Some happy companies here. We got, the big ones, but then this average ones, and we've got this company Steampunk. Actually, I went to look. Some of the times I go and actually look up these companies just to see, who they are and what they're winning and how they're put in place. Because sometimes it's a good investment opportunity. So I go up there because these are the guys. These are the companies that are really making it big. And here's one that's a business out of Virginia. Just got a part of a $2 billion contract. Steampunk. It's a good operation for business operating software, but a smaller company in the DC area. You see, got a smaller staff there, but came a part of a very, very large contract, and is there for you to really go in there and watch it. Open that up. How about any questions about the GSA so far? Kind of pull some of these together for you, but you can go on beta.sam and watch those. And then you can see those active ones. Here's an active one where they're actually looking for real estate, and they're looking for individuals to respond by April 24th. And when you look at these individual ones, as you open it up, you always want to scroll down, and you will get to the point where you'll find out who the contracting officer is and the details of that, actually how to respond to that. And you would open up that, and they're somewhat straightforward. But here, GovDuracious can send you to the original contract person, and that's the person you're going to reach out to. This is a pre-solicitation notice, meaning that it's coming soon, just not yet. And so they're going to announce it in the announcement here. They'll tell you when or about the time that they are going to release that RFP. You need to go ahead and get ready, and then respond back to them appropriately. They're doing a lot of real estate activity and throughout the United States, and they're continuing to gear that back up. I had an opportunity to listen to the GSA talk about real estate and how they're involved in that and the selection of buildings. And this can be a lot of different activities that you want to watch. And remember that whenever they go in there and potentially are going to lease new office, then they're going to need someone for custodial services, for management services. Good way to go ahead and make contact and go ahead and send that potential capability statement to the appropriate officials. There, having that capability statement ready to go is always really important there. But it's a typical example from GSA for a particular contract related to space. And you'll see over and over again the space requirements and the renovations contracts, leasing there, going through walking some of the active contracts have just been released that you might want to watch. And the multiple award schedules are the ones that are, these are where they're going in and buying off the contract and listing those. And I've got a couple of them here that I downloaded this morning. See if I can pull one up as I talk to you. Let's see here. I'll use the furniture one as an example. And so here you have the furniture. It's a category attachment, and then it shows you the actual RFP. and the products that they're looking for, and then the awards will be under. This is a carpet one specifically on the small business set aside requirement. Commercial flooring, $500,000 awards. They're $500,000, so they're getting ready to add all these companies in. So it's always important to monitor those. And these contracts falling under our gov directions. They will come out. Oftentimes, they're not in our subcategories, unfortunately, but there. So if you do see that title multiple award process or multiple contracting, they're going through and they're issuing that award off this vehicle here. We'll be talking about the types of vehicles this afternoon in our Gov Focus series. It's always important that you understand those. But if you're selling, furniture related activities, this is a good award to get on. And so there's multiple companies listed, and you're pre-approved, and individuals can buy from that. Having that, once again, having that capability statement ready to go so that you can provide that information to them is very important. I would ask that you maintain your mute status as long as you are not asking questions, and it does help with the background there. And so, just pointing out some of the awards there that have been recently made, I think it's helpful to see what our competitors are doing. These are all just in the past week. How about some questions about awards? Has everybody got an award so far? You've been on the award schedule? Anybody want to share their experience? We'll see different ones, all just about in every industry this past week. We're seeing, a part of the new America. I think they're calling that the America Rescue Plan. It's going to be $2 trillion in spending at minimum is what they're talking about it now. They're using earmark, to understand the sort of the legislative process of how this decision is being made. And we actually talk about decision-making requirements in one of our sessions, but they're going through the process of reintroducing the concept of earmarks. And earmarks are a way to really bring along vote in a very tight or divided political situation. And so essentially, I agree to give you, we can include you in a bill, and then you agree to support it. And so they're going to go through and potentially earmark particularly large amounts of funds out. So they're going to say, we're going to make sure this bridge is included in this legislation. And we will want your support on this in order to make sure that bridge is funded, or a new building, or new parks, or a new broadband. For example, there's a significant effort in Georgia that's coming over the next few years in other rural areas to make sure we have that broadband, very similar to what we built interstate systems in the United States in the 50s. So making sure that broadband is available to our rural communities, because that's a new avenue, as we all know, as we're sitting here today on the online system to make sure that those communities are successful. And so they'll bring in a lot of rural legislators with direct appropriation, earmarked appropriations for specific projects related to broadband. And that's one of the categories that we actually have at Gov Directions now. And so what we're doing as a part of this, because it's a significant, literally increasing the federal government spend by almost 30% in one fifth calendar year, and it's going to be spread out over 8 years, and it's going to be leveraged potentially with debt capacity to even further than that. So we want to make sure we mention to you specifically and make you aware of those individual contracts. So we've got a whole section that's focused specifically on infrastructure, and for bridges, roads and bridges, and airports and rails are, the traditional transportation methods. Transit is going already, I saw a map where they potentially new Amtrak line from Atlanta to Savannah, and really opening up that corridor. That's a huge investment. The transit, and they've got the transit map. I watched Secretary Buttigieg talk about this yesterday, and making sure that the rails are fully funded at a level, and so re-engaging the concept of mass movement. And then, of course, broadband communications, fiber, these type projects listed here, huge projects, a lot of revenue going through these. And this is not only simply, providing the networking and the actual enterprise systems, but it's also, supporting that, with making sure that the roads are cleared. So whenever with cones and barrels and barricades, and also fencing to keep it secure. So bringing a lot of subcontractors. So whenever you see an actual top bid for a major project, remember there's going to be a lot of subcontracts as a part of that. And so in our trades area, we're focusing once again on the subcontracting for those larger ones. So when you see that $2 billion contract that's coming through, then you'll know that potentially there's going to be a need for someone to come in and actually provide other services like fencing. And so in that fencing category, watch for that, or guardrail in those subcontractors. And so we'll say in ahead of that they need a DVB subcontractor or a veteran-owned subcontractor or a woman-owned subcontractor. So watch for those, and they're always with a keyword subcontractor or the particular type that they're actually looking for there. And so we want you to watch, in the coming month or so where that legislation is leading toward. We try to stay out of the political decisions, but once they actually make that political decision, then we believe our members need to be the ones first at the table to win those contracts, and we're going to stay on top of that. And as you would know, with the large primes leading the infrastructure side, they're going to buy the equipment, they're going to buy the supplies, and then the services related to those just come along with it. So all of the categories we expect to see significant amounts of funds. And so, one of the questions I got from Anthony is, are there any requirements for getting someone on the GSA schedule? Cynthia, you feel like talking about that? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I had my hands raised so that you could answer Anthony's question.
Yeah, so, getting on the GSA schedule is a matter of first, responding to their contracts is a good way to watch for that, okay? But you come in to the GSA system, and then in the frequently asked questions, they're going to talk specifically about getting on the schedule, so the mass schedule, and making sure that you're able to do that. And so you can see that here. It's not that complicated, but there are forms that are associated with it, and then making sure that you're viable, and that you have all your I's dotted and T's crossed. That's a big part of that. Having that capability statement that speaks to your NAICS codes and your CAGE code, those are always important to have in place. And so when you say requirements, getting that capability statement first is really kind of preparing you with the requirements you would need to actually then pursue that placement on the schedule. And in attending their industry days or attending their events on how to do that is important. They'll walk that through. You don't need to spend, a lot of times some folks will come along, and that's one of the things we talk about in the bid week. It's always good to, have some external expertise in topics, but you don't have to pay a lot of money to get on the schedule. You just have to follow the instructions in order to do that, okay? And follow in the areas that you potentially serve. But it's generally very straightforward. There are organizations that are out there, for example, the Public Technical Assistance Corporation, PTACs. And you can type in PTAC and, just do Atlanta, where I'm at, or your city. It'll pop up. There we go. Is a Tech Procurement Assistance Center. And they're going to walk through, and they're going to have, they'll talk about, once again, about GSA hosting small event webinar. You want to make sure you attend that. But they'll help you with that process. They're fully funded by the federal government and by the military department, Department of Defense, and they'll help you with that process. It's a good service. There's one in your area, traditionally through the local community college or local university of some sort. They're always there. Just put your name of your agency, your city that you're in, and then PTAC. It'll come up. And once it call attention to these small business events, I would certainly attend those if I'm trying to get on the GSA schedule. And that's going to be April the 15th. is one, but you can see that on the individual is by region. And I would focus in on the region that I'm in. And if you're not familiar with where GSA regions are at, you can go and just type in GSA regions, and then it'll show you that there's a map that's available to you that'll outline that, okay? Good question. How about questions on GSA? Everybody having their coffee? We're not seeing any coffee cups this morning. I'm not sure how, Cindy, how we're gonna give away our coffee card today.
I know, nobody wants to show their face this morning or their coffee cups. But I've got a cute one. It's a really cute one. So I might be the winner of the coffee. The Starbucks Coffee Award. So
you might be today. Yeah, so we
someone's gonna show me their coffee.
We're trying to
I really would. I'd like to encourage you all to be involved with GSA. It is an incredible agency. And not only do they offer the schedule and different products. Oh, Gregory, what does your coffee cup say there, Gregory Woodson? It's pretty too. What does it say? Oh, it's a beautiful S. Okay. Well, great. I like it.
Gregory's going to be the winner of the coffee series once we get another one up there.
Yeah, Gregory's going to be the winner. Exactly.
We're, we want to continue to do this each week to stay on topic about issues that are out there impacting you, and inviting some guests coming on. Cynthia's encouraging some for next week, but individuals can help us in particular areas. So you can have direct questions, continue to grow our audience. But we, I thank you for dropping by this morning at the 10:30 mark, and I know we all got a busy day. If you need some motivation, get pull those awards out, and you can see, they're not all these $2 billion awards. These $30,000 ones are bread and butter. These are really good projects to win, and most of us, when we do win contracts, are winning in that range. And this is just at the federal level. And here's Always Clean in Oregon, working with Portalex Toilet Services with Department of Defense. Good contract, just won that one. And then studies that are out there. A lot of software spending going on. Smart GPS animal tracking collars, another good one. That one's in Concord, California, for the Department of Agriculture to get out there. Grounds maintenance, Max Pro Enterprises, Cedar Hill, Texas, an $87,000 award. Great contract right there. This is the ones that, and usually these are multi-year ones, Cynthia. A lot of folks, they see that base amount. This really quickly turns into a $300,000 contract overnight, and it's multi-year, and that's whenever I announce it, it's just the first year. Any questions? Thank you for stopping by, and everybody have a great day. You have time to come to our series this afternoon on the Gov School Focus. Give us a call. Good Dell call at 800-492-8523. That series there really helps you zero in on the actual topics that are at hand, and the ones that can help you. How to pinpoint that opportunity, how to respond to the RFP, what to look for in the evaluation. And so we thank you for stopping by, and everyone have a great Monday. And Greg, we look forward. Give us that email address, or drop that email address in. I think we actually have yours. So we'll be sending you that coffee card this morning. You won. Have a great day.
Thank you.